For me, I think I was so focused on just being an actor, and I didn't allow myself to be like, well, you can also be a writer, you can be a director, you can find other ways to get it, and that's only specific to entertainment. So now that I've seen it for what it is, I'm like, yeah, I could be an actor, but it's also important to pursue other ways of getting in, because you kind of have to do that. You know, if you're not getting the roles, write the roles you want.
Our next guest can be seen on the spin-off Bosch Legacy. Give it up for Denise Sanchez.
Yay.
Welcome to the couch.
Thank you so much.
Denise G. Sanchez.
Denise G. Sanchez.
What's the G stand for?
Gail.
I thought it was gangsta.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm gonna start telling people. It stands for gangsta.
There you go.
All right, so Bosch Legacy. This is a spin-off from the show Bosch. What's the spin-off aspect?
So it's Bosch Legacy is based off of Bosch, which was originally on Amazon for 7 seasons, and so it's based on Michael Connelly's book for the first 4 seasons. And so this one is now following Harry Bosch, who has now gone from an LAPD officer to a private detective in Los Angeles, and so that's where I come in.
Who do you play?
I play Reina Vasquez, a training officer at the Hollywood division.
Nice.
You're so good in the trailer. Like you're so pretty, first of all. So you're the type of cop that I'd be like, oh my God, maybe she'll have a soft spot for me. And then you'll be like, drop him. And I'd be like, okay, all right, fine. I mean, is it as intense and action-packed when you're filming it too, the whole time?
I mean, you know, there's certain scenes that are like very like tactical, and so it's very like drawing your guns, wrestling something down to the ground, but it's a lot of fun and it's so worth it. Yeah.
Do you have experience doing those type of scenes, like high action?
I've only ever done one cop role before, and that was on Criminal Minds a few years ago, and it was just drawing my gun and running to the suspect, but nothing like on the level of Bosch. So it was really fun to shoot.
Would you consider that stunt work, I guess, if you're...
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to my resume.
You're a stunt woman now, too.
I'm a stunt woman now.
That's right, Denise.
So do you play like the officer a lot? Are you? Because I'm getting a nice vibe, like a good girl vibe, like, you know. So they don't make you the villain very often. Maybe they tried early on.
Well, you know, Reina is very, she's got a heart of gold, but she is a training officer.
Right.
So she's very hard on Maddie, and you know, that's just kind of her MO. She's a female officer at the LAPD, you know, so she's got to have somewhat of an armor to her. But me personally, I have a big heart. I love people, but it was kind of fun to play this because it's kind of the polar opposite of what I'm
But she's a badass, but she's not bad, is what I'm saying. I don't see you being
right.
I don't see you being a crook. I see you saying, okay, I'm going to exert my force on the crook, so I'm going to be badass. But is that, so in Criminal Minds, did you play an officer as well? Or did
I was a co-star, so it was like literally just showing up and doing some arrests.
So
it wasn't anything.
Why do you think Hollywood sees like law enforcement in you?
You know, that's a good question. I think a lot of it is based on looks. Maybe my headshots portray something more serious and more like I can give that mean, resting, angry look kind of thing, and you know, so.
Did you
I'm
follow
just
the
leaning
rules?
into it, you know?
Did you follow the rules like in high school? Were you like were you one of the good kids? Or were you
There it is.
No, I didn't. No, not at all. I did not follow the rules.
Casting directors pull out the school
They know.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, no, I was definitely not on my best behavior in grade school and high school. Certainly not high school. So.
Where'd you grow up?
Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. There's a lot of Latinos in
Well,
Connecticut.
we could talk about that because I didn't know there was a lot of Latinos out in Connecticut and New Jersey, you said, right?
Connecticut, New Jersey is like the hub for Peruvians. So,
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Peruvian community, very, very big Peruvian community out there. So I was very fortunate to grow up there.
What town? It's
I grew up in Windsor.
Windsor.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So Windsor, Connecticut.
Is it excited to do a spin-off?
It is. It is. You know, it's already a really nice, generous, established family from Bosch, you know, and so to kind of join in on that was really great because everybody was super welcoming, and it's a spin-off. There's already a fan base there.
Is it pressure from the fans?
You know, I haven't gotten any fan feedback because the announcements just came out. So so far it's been positive. Everybody's really excited to see it. So I'm just happy to be aboard, you know.
Damn. I feel like recently, this was like a little mental note that I had earlier on.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more Latina cops.
Yes.
And when they have their hair in a bun, I'm just like, let me know. You know, if it's a guy cop, I could be like, oh hi, you know, sorry, I act a little dumb. But when it's a Latina cop, I'm like, ooh.
Well, you're talking about it in real life.
Yeah,
I felt like in Hollywood shows, there's a lot more Latino cops because it reflects reality. Yeah.
I'm talking about like in real life, and so I was just like, let me not like get them, you know. So like maybe that's why they also.
When I slick back my hair with a bunch of gel, we call it the helmet because it's literally they throw on gel and hairspray, so it's just like
it's
this.
hard like a helmet.
It's hard and it's shiny. So it's like whenever I put it on and come out, they'll be like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. So, you know, obviously when I see them out, and I live in Koreatown, so whenever I see a female officer and they have that bun, I'm like, I know what that's like. That
it's
slick bun, they are
scary.
serious.
Right.
Man, don't mess with them.
But are you giving them the head nod, like, and then, oh, wait, hold on. They don't know that I play a cop on TV.
Oh, no,
Imagine.
totally. I'm always like,
And they're like, yeah, hi.
You'll be like, can
no,
I
but I
just
play a
stare
cop.
at you?
right. I'm like, oh, that's the protocol. I get it. I'm like, what are
Right.
you doing? Like, they don't even know you.
Have you brought any of Raina into your own life since you've been playing the role?
Her handcuffs.
Ooh.
Oh.
And the shoes, man.
And
No,
the
she doesn't wear the shoes.
There's a theme going on here.
Those aren't the cop shoes, but when you brought up the handcuffs, I'm like, oh, the shoes go with the
Right.
do you go like method? We've been asking a lot of actors this on the show because you know there's some people that really get into their role and like they don't shut off even when they yell cut. Are you like a method actress or like when they yell cut, are you back to Denise?
It just depends on the role. With Raina specifically, no. I was able to turn her on and turn her off when I needed to, especially because I was working with Maddie and she's become a dear friend of mine. So in between takes, you know, we were just being girly girls, and then as soon as they said action, it was like all serious. So, you know, it just depends on the role.
Wow. When did you start acting?
Formally, like when I moved to New York.
Okay.
But I had been acting, like doing theater and choir growing up in school, but I didn't start pursuing it until I moved to New York. So I would say on and off for like 8 years.
Okay.
And you know, so.
I thought a really cute and special note on your bio was that you were your parents' form of entertainment before they learned English.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really sweet.
Yeah, my parents came to the United States and they didn't speak any English. So for me, our trade-off was like they would teach me Spanish and I would respond to them in English. So it was like a lot of Spanglish growing up at home. And so for me, I was always like, you know, putting on little fashion shows, whether it was borrowing clothes from my Manila, my abuela, or my mom, and just, you know, trading off, and they would just, but there's our entertainment. Why do we need cable? She's right there.
Oh,
awesome.
that's so sweet.
So you knew you wanted to be a performer from early on?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
There was nothing else.
Were you born in Peru?
No, I was born in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first generation. So yeah.
So all right, so we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna, you know, get even more like into your psyche.
Okay.
This is kind of like therapy, okay?
Okay.
For us more than for you, actually. We'll be right back with Denise Sanchez.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the zoo. We are here with our girl, Denise Sanchez. You know, tough, gangsta, with a big heart. I'm just kidding. Are you a Cancer?
No, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, what are you?
An Aries, of course.
I always get Aries and Aquarius mixed up.
Okay.
When's your birthday?
Soon.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Aries season.
Oh, because
I don't
Aries is like the
I
second.
disappear on my birthday. I
Okay.
never want to be here.
Yeah.
That means we got to shoot on that day.
No, we're not going to shoot it. Actually, it's on the weekend this year, so it's good.
Oh, nice.
Are you into, so growing up, you weren't into like astrology, were you?
Not really.
What about now in California?
Yeah, I've learned a lot more. I've learned a lot more about it, but you know, some of it's kind of confusing to me. I know I have a birth chart and it aligns with the stars and the moons. It's interesting. I do believe
You are
in it.
so the cop in the show. You're not gonna be the, you know, because here's the thing: you got strength, but it's within parameters. You got your lines.
Right.
They're carefully drawn. Okay.
Yeah.
This astrology woo-woo stuff is a little out, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, give yourself some time.
Well,
California will.
Right.
You know what's interesting? I was born and raised here in Los Angeles, right? But you always make this comment where you're like, sometimes this whole spirituality thing is more of a California thing, and it's kind of like too out there for like maybe
East
other
Coast.
the
You
East
know,
Coast.
I grew up in Miami.
Is that
I'm from
true?
Miami, so.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got into more of astrology and all that stuff once I moved out here. But my family also, they believe in it, but they don't co-sign on everything, you know. So it was definitely a part of the conversation growing up, and I was very aware of astrology and the moon and the stars and how it
Walter
affects it.
Mercado on Univision.
Thank you. Con mucho
That
amor.
was the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always been in the realm of things that I was aware of, but definitely when I moved out to California, it was just like, that was like the first thing they asked me. Like in New York, it was like, hi, you know, Denise, where are you from, or whatever. Here it's like, Denise, what's your sign?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like,
But
Aquarius?
Here's the thing, that's funny. It's offensive to Californians when people go, I don't even know. Like, what? You know, and you just hate that we're asking you this
Yeah.
question. The thing is this, it's just a funny icebreaker because you know what? The other question in LA is what do you do? So sometimes you're like, you know what? I'll go ahead and answer the sign question because
Right.
sometimes it gets a little into like the networking thing. At what point did you what was the thing that brought you out here? Were you already working as an actress on the East Coast before you came out here, or did you come here in pursuit of the acting job?
I was trying to act out in New York, but it was just really tough. I just wasn't getting any breaks. New York City in itself, it's a beautiful city. I love it, but it's just hard. You know, hard on the mind, body, financially. And I was being more of a professional bartender out there just because trying to make ends meet. So I wasn't following my, desire to act because I was just trying to survive. So when I made the decision to move out to LA, it was just like I didn't move out of my house to do that, and I thought New York, LA, it's sunny, it's beautiful, everybody always says that's the hub, so just move here. So I did. I just literally was just like, I think I read Law of Attraction, and that really just made me be like, what? Let me just go. So.
One thing I loved about, reading your story is that you didn't see a lot of LAD representation growing up, and now you get to be part of that landscape. How does that feel for you?
Feels incredible, and for me, it's just, it's exciting. I never thought that I would be part of that conversation because you always kind of dream that you'd get the role that pushes you on to the next and to the next. And for me, I think, I hope one of my biggest legacies will be just turning around and handing it over to somebody else, helping them up the ladder. That's important. We need to be seen. We're like the backbone of this country. We need to be seen. So.
And what would you say to maybe young girls who are watching who feel, that there still isn't enough representation?
You're right. There isn't enough representation, but I think the most important thing is to don't stop and find different avenues. For me, I think I was so focused on just being an actor, and I didn't allow myself to be like, well, you can also be a writer, you can be a director, you can find other ways to get it, and that's only specific to entertainment. So now that I've seen it for what it is, I'm like, yeah, I could be an actor, but it's also important to pursue other ways of getting in because you kind of have to do that. If you're not getting the roles, write the roles you want.
Do you mind if I ask you about the tattoo on your wrist? It's kind of like the curveball about you because given all the other information that I've gathered, I wouldn't think you'd have a tattoo.
So this is my grandmother. Her name is Mama Nila. She's my mom's grandmother, and this is a Clementine because it's my mom, my father's mother's name. So Rosa Clementina.
Wow.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that. So,
did your mom say anything when you got the tattoos?
I don't think my first tattoo was in the back of my neck. She didn't see that for a very long time.
Okay.
But these, when she saw them, she was like, "Ay, hija." She's like, "Por qué?" And I'm like, "Because I wanted to memorialize them." She was like, "Memorialize them here and here."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, it's too late. I'm not gonna get rid of it."
Because I had the same conversation with my mom. I was like, I want to get a tattoo. She's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's going to be your name. And she's like, even less. And I was like, oh.
I don't want that. You're not doing that for me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
Did you get one?
I did. I have one right here.
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
It says Nena.
Nena.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ones?
I have one in the back of my neck, which I want to get rid of. It's an eyeball with flames. With flames.
I have to see it.
An
It's
eyeball
super.
with
It's super
flames.
faded.
Somebody was having fun in their youth.
I was, and then I have one here that's, oh God, it's like laugh a little harder, which is just to remind me to just not take life so seriously.
Well, listen, cops these days have tattoos, so you're
Yes.
still getting the cop roles.
That's
but
right.
at some point you should diversify and be like, I'm ready to play the villain. I'm ready to play like the cocaine mobster.
Oh my God.
That's where my baseline lives. I would love to do something like
And now
that.
somebody could put you in handcuffs.
Thank you.
Switch it up.
By the way, I wanted to tell you something before we go. You're too pretty to be this nice. Like, you don't got to be this nice, all right? So,
Thank you.
anyway, look, you're going to do amazing on this series. I feel the series is going to go for a long time, and then there's going to be all these other things that you're going to do.
I hope so.
Come back to the zoo, and maybe the next time you'll be coming back to promote yourself as a villain.
I
And we'll
hope so.
see. Yeah,
That would be fun.
we'll see that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining
Thank
us.
you so
Where can people follow you before we leave?
Twitter and Instagram at Denise G. Sanchez.
Awesome. All right, we'll be right back on the zoo.